we need to separate out the distinction between fantasy and delusion. You do have a fantasy about the future. So you have to provisionally map the future. That's what a plan is. That doesn't make it a delusion. Like, it becomes a delusion when the map bears no relationship to the underlying territory. So if you have a strategy for the future, maybe let's say that your strategy for the future is that you have 5 million YouTube subscribers in 3 years. Well, you have no evidence of the strict sort that that's how it's going to be, because anything could happen between now and 3 years from now, let's say. But there's no reason to call that a delusion. It's one hypothetically possible path of potential. And then you can make the sacrifices necessary to bring that about. So even though it's a fantasy because it maps something that isn't there, it's not a delusion. It's a delusion when you're ignoring elements of your own experience that would inform your fantasy more effectively. You're ignoring them so that you can live in a positive representation of the future without having to pay the appropriate price for it. The ultimate ideal is also the ultimate judge, because the ultimate ideal is something against which you fall far short. And that might be so painful that you can barely stand it. But then what you do is two things, I suppose, is you lower the ideal and you raise your estimation of your potential. And what do I mean by lower the ideal? Well, if you're comparing yourself to someone or even to a future self, and the gap is so painful that it paralyzes you, then you've created a dragon that you don't have the tools to master. And so what you have to do is you have to scale the dragon down to size. And you want to scale the dragon down to size until it's a size that you are willing to move toward, however small that is. Now, if you're here and your ideal is here and that gap is unbearable, then you reduce the gap and you reduce the gap. And you're going to have to do that anyways, because you're not going to move from where you are to perfect in one fell swoop, right? There's going to be incremental steps. So you have to fill in that hierarchy of progression with a high enough resolution representation so that you can start to move forward. There's another gospel comment that's very interesting. It's called the Matthew principle. And the Matthew principle is, to those who have everything, more will be given, and from those who have nothing, everything will be taken. Now, it's brutal because it implies that reality works like this. When you're moving up, you go like this, right? And that's pretty nice. That's a lot better than this. But when you're going down, you go like that, right? It's like downhill, cliff. Okay, so you want to avoid the downhill path.
The problem is you, and you don't want to fix it. Why most people don't want to do that is because it is scary. It unlocks a whole bunch of things about who you are and who you're not. It's scary to wake up every day and say, I'm stupid, but I want to figure out a way to be smarter. Versus saying, man, I just can't do that. So you limit this box. So your box becomes so small of things you can do. My box wasn't even a box. It was a fucking little pinhole. And then through examining myself, getting some willpower, some courage, it became bigger than this table. There's no fucking passion. There's no fucking motivation. There's no, oh my God, man, no. It's every day of your life just doing. I just fucking did. I just did. This is why I cuss, because this is what is in me. This is what it took for me to be me. Sorry. It didn't take, hey, okay, we're going to do this today. No, this fucking really sucks. This is real, dude. This is real. Just do. You're living. How do you want to live? How do you want to die? How do you want to fucking be remembered? That's it. That's it. Period.
Everything in your life is a reflection of a choice you have made. If you want a different result, make a different choice.
Everybody has the desire to do something, but they don't have they don't know how to really complete the process of dedicating themselves and having the discipline to do it. If you got the desire, you got to match that desire with your dedication, and you got to match it with your discipline.
And so when you have that point of view, then literally the world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Out of the 100 men that go into war, 10 shouldn't even be there. 80 of them are just targets. 9 do most of the fighting. 1 is a warrior. And it's a true quote to life. I saw it going through training. I saw it everywhere I went. There's so many people who just show up to life that shouldn't even be around. And there's a few people who do all the work. I wanted to be part of that 9, and I'm working towards being that 1.
Whenever I get to a low point where I think, why do I even bother? I just remind myself, this is where most people stop, and this is why they don't win. And this relates to another one, which is a reminder for the gladiators in the arena who feel beat up and scarred with no hope in sight. Building a business is hard. Hard feels shitty. This is what hard feels like. And this is why most people can't do it, but you can. This is what hard feels like.
No one's coming to push you. No one's coming to tell you to turn the TV off. No one's coming to tell you to get out the door and exercise. The bottom line is, no one's coming.
Guess what? No one gives a fuck. You gotta get the motherfucker in. Sometimes life can really hijack your fucking mind. When that happens to you, you're all fucked up. Your goals, your ambitions, everything is out the fucking window. In life, we all go through different things. Sometimes your girlfriend or boyfriend breaks up with you. Guess what? Get the fuck over it. They no longer want you. Maybe you failed a test in school. You worked your ass off. Guess what? You failed the fucking test. Get over it. Move past it. Learn to not let life hijack your brain. At work, you've been working your ass off for that new promotion. You don't fucking get it. Someone else does. Maybe they kiss better ass than you do. Guess what? Get over it. Life will hijack your mind if you let it. Don't allow all these things to make you a lesser person. You must own your mind. Don't let life own yours. Get after it, stay hard. I believe in self-discipline, self-pride, self-motivation. No one has that self anymore. That self is gone. So that driving force that tells you, I have to do this shit. I took great pride in the fact that I was nobody. And what you just described put goosebumps on me because that's exactly what I took pride in. Was I'm gonna make sure you're good and you're good. My mom will tell you right now, she's right there sitting.
She is.
She knows I don't buy myself shit. I take great pride in that. I don't want shit. Because how I'm wired to, hey mom, I'm gonna get you this, 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 and this. My girl, everybody's got everything. I don't even own a car, and I'm a multi-millionaire. And I say that with pride. Because what I was here to do as a man, and men may not even want to hear this. It sounds so barbaric. That's the pride in which you have as a man, is that you see your mom, you see your girl, you see your kids, you see all this, you see them doing well. That's all a real man wants. They don't give a how they dress, how they look, what they're driving. They don't give a shit. Because why? Your trophies are your family, and they're all walking around. Every man that sees you, they see you walking in with some sweatpants and shit, but they know your family's all in because you put the time in, you put the effort in, you put the work in. And as a man, we don't want none of that. We just want respect. And that's what men don't give a now. But the only thing I want is for my family to look at me and say, that's the man right there. And men don't have that. They don't know what that feels like. So until you know what that feels like, you're never going to seek that feeling of when things are bad, my family looks to me.
As they should.
As they should.
That's your job.
That is my job. And I earned that. It's not given because you wake up and you're a man.
And it feels real good.
It feels amazing. When anything goes wrong in my family, if there's a flat tire, they don't call AAA. They call David Goggins. My mom's got a problem? David. My mom's sick? David. She don't call the doctors, David. Anybody, they call David. And that's earned. That's a good feeling. And I would challenge men to try that. Try that. Try that for a couple of days. Try working those 20-hour shifts and coming home and having your girl have a meal at home. I guarantee your girl looks at you very different. Every day you come home and you're dirty as or you're just tired and she knows you're only getting 4 hours of sleep, and then when you go to work, she's sleeping because it's 4 o'clock in the fucking morning, and you look at her, she knows what kind of man she's got. Your mom knows, your dad knows what kind of son they have.
Yeah.
They don't know that feeling. It's the best feeling in the world. Money can't buy it, nothing can buy it. So it's just something that we almost can't teach our kids anymore because the world is influencing people from all over. Once they leave your house, you got this weak family, that weak family, and that weak family saying, why is your dad like that? Why are you doing that? So it's hard to keep it, man. And how can you not want that? How can you not want that? That's old school savage.
Now, each day consists of a series of acts of all kinds. And the success of a day depends upon the successful completion of each of these acts. If everything we do during the day is a success, that is, done in the best fashion of which we're capable, we can fall asleep that night in the comfortable knowledge that we've done our very best, that our day has been a success, that one more stone has been successfully put into place. Now, this is the way to really live. Do each day all that can be done that day. You don't need to overwork or to rush blindly into your work trying to do the greatest possible number of things in the shortest possible time. It's not the number of things you do necessarily, but the efficiency of each separate action that counts. Gradually, you'll find yourself increasing the number of acts and perform them all much more efficiently. To get the habit of success, and that's why successful people go from one success to another, because it's a habit with them. To get the habit of success, you need only to succeed in each small act each day. This makes a successful day. Enough of these and you have a successful week, month, year, and lifetime. This is why I say success is not a matter of luck, far from it. It can be absolutely predicted and guaranteed, and anyone can achieve it by following this plan. Almost before you realize it, you'll have achieved your goal. In looking back, you'll realize that your success was not attributable to any one day, week, or month, but rather it was the consistent, unrelenting, successful succession of single days that turned the trick. This is the way a skyscraper, a home, or a human life is successfully built. One successful day at a time, and each day, one successful act at a time. In order to advance to the place you've chosen, two things are necessary. One, that you keep your eye on your goal, and two, that you outgrow your present size as a person. I don't mean this last from the standpoint of weight, but rather of competence, ability. Don't get impatient. Don't let the hundreds of little distractions which each day try to get you off course bother you. Pay no attention to them. Shake them off and stay steadily on the track. Concentrate on each act of the day from morning to night and do each successfully. Know full well that if each of your acts is performed successfully, or at least the great majority of them, your life has to be successful. There's no other answer. There's no way on earth to avoid it. The person who is certain to advance is the one who's too big for his job, and who has a clear concept of what he wants to be, who knows that he can become what he wants to become, and who is determined to be what he wants to be. Remind yourself at this time that people become exactly what they make up their minds to become, and who never deviate from their chosen goal. Are you too big for your present job? If it's obvious to you that you are, it's obvious to others. Actually, people are not given promotions as a rule. They promote themselves by becoming too big for their jobs, and by making up their minds exactly what bigger and better job or income they're shooting for. And this is done by taking one day at a time, and one act at a time during each day.